What an amazing episode of Survivor we had tonight. Double tribal council, double immunity idols played, one shocking person getting sent to the Edge of Extinction, and I got a lot to talk about, so we might as well just jump straight into it. So last week we didn't get to see Edge of Extinction. This week they were back as regularly as scheduled. So this is our first look at both Tyson and Boston Rob on Edge of Extinction. I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to see Rob's arrival to Edge of Extinction. I don't know if I missed it at the end of last week's episode, but this is our first time seeing him on Edge of Extinction, and I really would have liked to have seen what happened when Amber first saw that it was Boston Rob who'd been voted off. So we once again had a challenge on the island. The clue was to go flip rocks for a while. Tyson figured out that it was likely in an area that the tide went, and he's the one who finds the power. Today it was a idol nullifier, which he sold to Parvati, and immediately spent his fire token on a jar of peanut butter. It was kind of a hilarious little moment getting to see Tyson hoarding his peanut butter in his bag, using a clamshell to scoop it out, and he was just going to town on that peanut butter. Like, he said it was going to be great just getting to have a little bit each day, but he just, the way he was gobbling it down, I don't know how long that stuff is going to last. But the way he rationalized it was, this will give him the energy for whenever they end up having their return to the game challenge or whatever sort of challenge is going to go down in the future. So we might as well get off of Edge of Extinction, get back to the islands. So we find out double tribal. So the three tribes were facing off, and only whoever was the one winner gets immunity. The other two go to tribal. So we end up seeing Yara win. And really, it was a super close race between Yara and Sele. And the difference between who won really came down to one moment where Wendell decided to gloat to Jeff Probst. He said something like, "Hey, Jeff, watch this," and then immediately screwed up. And he was like right at the end of getting his ball into the final spot in the puzzle. So that was kind of hilarious to see that, like his arrogance just directly leading to his tribe losing the challenge. So Yara wins, and they have a really weird vibe going on right now because who's on that tribe? Ben, Sarah, and Sophie are just super tight, and then there's Adam, who's realizing that he is 100% the odd man out, and there is just nothing he can do about it. So maybe he shouldn't have backstabbed Boston Rob last week, even though the buddy system was absolutely ridiculous. But I think he's regretting not having anybody to possibly play with in the game right now. So Yara wins, Sele and Dakal both going to tribal. We're very much still seeing the old versus new mentality. The people who were in tribes together before are going against the people who weren't in their tribes before. And then also we're sticking with that huge theme of the season where anyone who's one of the big name old players is just getting sent home. Like, we've just seen everybody just getting voted out nonstop all season. Amber, Rob, who else? Tyson went last week. Like, they're all older players, all the first targets, and I don't know. It just seems like a weird strategy to me because you, I guess, are searching for excuses to vote people out this season, and that just seems to be the go-to excuse. They're like, "Oh, you're a legend. We can't have you stick around," which kind of sucks as a fan, but I guess it makes sense. So Sele, it was very clear that they were going to vote out Parvati right away. There was a few little cracks, and I think that if there had been more time between the immunity challenge and the when the tribal went down, that you might have had a chance of seeing Nick flip over to work with Michelle and Parvati. But there, in my opinion, there just wasn't enough time. And what a brazen move by Wendell to just straight up offer his vote for sale to Parvati. Now, I think he would have reneged on that deal like immediately, but it was a pretty ballsy move on his behalf. And in the end, how we saw things play out, I am surprised it didn't backfire on him, because they went to tribal and, Parvati kind of brought things up, and then Wendell just threw everything out in the open and just straight up asked, like, you want to sell me the vote? You want me to sell your vote to you? And I don't know, like, I think this was a missed opportunity for Parvati. I think she should have said, I do want to buy a vote, but I don't want to buy yours, Wendell. I want to buy Yule's and Nick's. And she should have just said, I have the power, and I'm willing to sell that for a vote against Wendell tonight. And that might have been enough to sway Nick. Like, I don't know how much on the fence he actually was, but he seems someone who's got a little bit of insecurities going on with his game. Like, we've seen Yule, he's very calm, very in control, and he just wants to play the numbers game, and the numbers were on his side, so he's voting people out. But I think that would have been interesting to see, but obviously didn't happen. And in the end, we see Parvati go home 3-2. So our other tribe to call, they it was just weird. So immediately we have Tony. He goes MIA. He builds himself a spy shack, and he's trying to spy on people for information, which was very bizarre to me because he's in the majority. He was with Kim and Sandra. Like, they were all together. They just had to pick, are we voting out Denise or Jeremy? Like, easy running, easy path to the finish line. But he goes and he makes a stealth shack, and like, everybody knows that this is something he's done in the past, immediately suspect this is what he's doing, and they're just like, all right, we're not talking anywhere close to where he might be spying. So they go and talk everywhere else but where Tony's hiding. Kind of hilarious. And the interesting thing here was the old DeCall, which was Tony, Sandra, and Kim. They have the numbers, but new DeCall, and more specifically Denise, she had the power. So she had the hidden immunity idol that, probably was going to end up getting pulled out today. And then we had this crazy moment between Sandra and Denise where Sandra's like, I'll sell you an hidden immunity, an immunity idol for 2 fire tokens. And Denise agrees. Like, why wouldn't you? Of course you're going to agree. And then the stipulation was, well, I'll pay you 1 now, Sandra, and I'll pay you the other 1 after. So Denise goes into tribal with 2 idols. And this is where things got crazy, because we're all watching, and we know Sandra has really set up for Tony to go home. I thought last week that we were going to see Sandra backstab Tony and turn on Tony, and that is what we saw, but she did it in a very, very sneaky way. So we go into this tribal, and the votes are cast. Everybody's voting against Denise, and so Denise pulls out her idol that she got from Sandra, says, I don't know if this is an idol, I found it on the walk up here. Then sits back down, and it's like, you know what? I got this other idol too. So she drops 2 hidden immunity idols on the same tribal, and then her vote is the only vote that matters because all 4 other people voted Denise. And what name did Denise write down? Sandra. Sandra and Parvati headed to Edge of Extinction.